Hey, Vsauce Michael here. 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 Hey, Vsauce Michael here.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and answer one of the greatest questions known to mankind. A question that every human being on earth has ever asked themselves and ever will continue to ask themselves, and no one will possibly know till they're truly dead. Now, Christians believe obviously in heaven and hell, and it's pretty self-explanatory that your judgment is based on the fact that if you do good deeds and you don't do bad deeds, you go to heaven. And if you do bad deeds, you go to hell. Hell is a place of unimaginable suffering, and heaven is a place of greatness and luxury where you spend it all in the presence of God forever. But do people really believe in this? Is there any proof? Is there any statistical analysis that we can go over that your consciousness actually becomes outside of your body at any time? At any place, is it possible that your mind and your thoughts and your experiences get transferred to an external body? I think it's one of those things that people just have to have faith in that it happens, because what would that experience even feel like? How would you even know that you were truly in a different fabric of reality? I mean, so many of our thoughts are associated with consciousness, like our brain functions on how our body feels, our temperature, our mood, our hunger levels, our thirst is all tied to the way we think. So with all those things with our body disconnected, would you just be left without your thoughts? Would you not even feel these sensations anymore? Many religions adopt a reincarnation or a rebirth afterlife. Buddhism in particular, cycle of life begins anew, whether a new body or a new object or a new creature. You begin another life without any prior knowledge, possibly of your past life. It isn't really seem possible that you would die and then you would remember your past lives, because otherwise there would be people and things that had died and lived again and had remembered their past lives. But they also say that there's past life regression, that people can remember their old lives and the way that they lived before. So this is another very interesting fact. I mean, in general, if you look at it scientifically, you do rebirth. The resources that your body had, the nutrients, the everything gets returned to Earth in one fashion or another. Even if it's in cremation or being buried, your materials still get cycled back into the universe. Islamic beliefs also believe in God will play the role of the judge, weighing the deeds of each individual. The afterlife, Jahannam, hell, or Jannah, heaven. The basis of the weight of either good or bad deeds compare whether or not you're allowed into hell or heaven. It's similar to Christianity in this aspect. But in many ways, many religions shower the truth of that if you're a good person, you live a good life, and you don't do bad things, you're given unlimited benefits in the afterlife. And if you do bad things or are terrible in this life, you are given hell, ultimate punishment for eternity. In Central America, many of the cultures believe that family is an important part of death, and that they don't shy away from discussions about death and the afterlife. They believe that loved ones are a close connection to the afterlife. There are also claims of an even more bizarre phenomenon, something that can be scientifically measured and studied. The idea that when you're about to die, your body pumps your brain full of the hallucinogenic drug DMT, and you go for one last final incredible trip to end your life and to be reborn into this new world is a pretty striking thought. Something somewhat grounded in reality, as these hallucinogenic drugs can be used and studied in real day-to-day life. There is the possibility as well that something happens to us when we die that we didn't expect. We're brought forth to a new dimension of creatures and to a new plane of existence that is unknown to science, and where our consciousness lays to its final resting place. Something that you would have never known. Something that nobody on earth has even begun to understand. And yet this could be the fate of us all when we die. There is the possibility as well that something happens to us when we die that we didn't expect. We're brought forth to a new dimension of creatures and to a new plane of existence that is unknown to science, and where our consciousness lays to its final resting place. Something that you would have never known. Something that nobody on earth has even begun to understand. And yet this could be the fate of us all when we die. Or perhaps something even more startling. Something that is completely and utterly unknown. What if things just stop? There's just blankness. You don't know, similar to when you were born, before you were born, you just don't know what happened. Nothing exists in your consciousness, and this brief time that you're alive is just a flash, and when you die it ends, and you can no longer see or think or hear, just this blackness, complete and utter darkness forever. In Western cultures, death is taboo or morbid, something that shouldn't be talked about or understood, and if it is deeply followed in Christianity, the dominant religion in the Western culture, and it has many guidelines and church descriptions of what the afterlife is about. Indigenous cultures often believe in death as the spirit leaving and becoming more at peace with nature and the surroundings around it. It can take on the form of an animal or a mountain. The spirit leaves the mortal body, it becomes a part of the environment around them. So, whatever it is, the most important question ever asked in the history of humanity: what becomes of us, the thing that makes us, our consciousness, our ideas, our thoughts, our feelings, our memories? What becomes of this when our mortal body officially dies? It's a question that may not ever be answered, but it is interesting to look on, and no matter what your belief in this subject, it's true to say that probably something incredible happens when you finally die and your mortal body ends. Anything could be possible, and the only thing that you really have to go on is the fact that it will happen one day and you will experience it. So live every day like it was great, because really you have every day to just be as happy and crazy as you possibly want, and there's no sense worrying about something that is inevitable.